My name is James Grage. Fitness and nutrition is my hobby, it's my business, it's a way of life. I've had milestones and I've had adversities. Through it all, I've never made excuses and always found a way. Through over 23 years of training, I've learned a lot, but I've always kept an open mind to new research and techniques that might help me reach my own fitness goals. As I try new things, I'll share the results with you so you're armed with all the right information and motivation to achieve your own goals. I'm James Grage, and this is No Excuses. 15 years ago, I suffered extensive injuries from a major car accident. As a result, I believed I'd never be able to run again. Now, I'm attempting to run a 6-minute mile. I'm coming up on the 15-year anniversary of a car accident that I was in. It was actually April 15th was the date of the accident. And since then, I've been able to do a lot of things that the doctors or other people never thought I'd be able to do again. The bodybuilding, the getting back in here and pushing past the injuries in the gym, training hard, being able to build muscle. I was able to do all that, but the running was just that one thing that I couldn't do. So I decided that was, because I couldn't do it, it was something that I must do. And so I started thinking about, how do I make this bigger and how do I take this experience, something that I've lived through, and how do I share it with other people? How do I teach other people through this? I came across this video, and it was for Shriners Children's Hospital. And this video that I watched was of this young boy who had both of his legs amputated right at the knee when he was really young. And I thought to myself, here's someone who's got all the excuses in the world if he really wanted to use them, yet he doesn't. He goes out there and he lives his life to the fullest. So I came up with this idea that maybe BPI Sports and myself could raise money and awareness for Shriners and tie it into this goal of mine of wanting to run the mile again. Now here I was with this goal, wanting to go out and run again. So I called a friend of mine, his name is Tony, and Tony was an ex-Olympic athlete. He used to run the 110 meters, and fortunately he was willing to come over here to the office, and we sat down. We looked at some video footage that I had of me running. We talked about my injuries. We came up with a list of exercises to help rebuild strength in my legs, help build flexibility again, and work through all the injuries.
Since James hadn't done anything in the past 15 years or so dealing with physical or any type of conditioning, we need to start from ground zero and put together a program that's going to help him progressively get in shape and build up to that 6-minute mile pace. James is really going to have to take care of himself, get the proper rest, get the proper nutrition, be sure he's taking the supplementation, proper glutamine, glucosamines, proper proteins. Coming from my background as an athlete and a runner, he's going to go through some things that he's unaware of right now, but I'm sure he'll be able to overcome those things.
So besides being busy with the business or my regular training and my family, trying to figure out how to squeeze that all in, how to integrate all this extra training into my daily schedule, that's been one of the challenges. And I thought about it, I'm like, you know, this is a great opportunity for me to not only teach my kids about fitness, but teach them about doing something bigger than yourself, you know, doing something for a great cause. A lot of times after work, I would load the kids up in the car and get my wife, and we would head out to the track, and my wife would put my daughter, my 15-month-old daughter, in the stroller, and she would jog around the track, and my son would come out and he would run with us, or he would bring his soccer ball and he'd kick it in the field as I ran. They're out there supporting me, helping me do this. So, you know, my son, he comes out here. I was out in the parking lot. I've got a harness with a tire, and so I'll do sprints in the parking lot. And so one day I got my son out here, and he and I were racing each other, which was kind of cool because he's only 7 years old. But me dragging a tire was kind of like the equalizer. So it actually made it kind of cool because we were racing head to head. And so I know it was fun for him. It made doing something that normally wouldn't be so fun for me, it made it kind of cool. But yeah, my family's been really supportive of this goal. And I'm looking forward to having them there on the day of the event where I go out and I run. knowing that I've got them there at the finish line is pretty exciting. I'm looking forward to that. Well, got up at 5:45 this morning and packed up the kids, got them in the car, headed out here to Tradewinds Park in Coconut Creek. We're gonna do the 5K walk, run, roll for the Disabled Veterans of America, set up right over here. And I'm gonna attempt to run my 6-minute mile for Shriners Children's Hospital. Set it up where if I can run it under 7 minutes, we'll donate $10,000 to Shriners. And if I can hit my goal of 6 minutes, we'll double it up and we'll go to $20,000.
James is very driven by his heart. He's gone through so much in the last month and a half with being hit by a car and all of his injuries from his car accident. His heart is not gonna give out on him. I think it's more so his legs that might not cooperate. So that's my biggest fear, but I know that James always finishes everything that he puts his heart and his mind and all of his energy into. So if anything, it's gonna be that.
So did you know that at the last minute, James decided to push his friend Michael in a wheelchair?
It doesn't surprise me. You might as well just go ahead and add me onto his back, because that's the way James is. He always really puts it out there, really wants to push himself, so I'm not surprised, but I think that's absolutely remarkable.
My original intention was to come out here and to not only run this mile, but run as fast as I could. The faster I run it, the more money I raise for Shriners. My original goal was a 6-minute mile. Now to up the ante, I was talking to my friend Jim Saya, and he and I got the idea that to really push myself and really motivate myself, and we actually push his son, Michael Saya, who's got cerebral palsy and is quadriplegic. And you know, it may slow me down a little bit physically, but it's gonna motivate me because every step of the way, he's gonna be there by my side, rooting me on. It's gonna be a good reminder for me of why I'm out here doing what I'm doing, which is because I'm really lucky to be here. I've got 2 legs, that I can walk on and run on. So, Michael's gonna be there every step of the way cheering me on. So we just wrapped up. We accomplished our goal. We hit 6:06. We had a little bit of a delay there with our start, so might have lost a few seconds there, but we hit our 6-minute mark. Considering that was my original goal, running by myself, and I was able to do that while pushing Michael, that's an incredible sense of satisfaction right there.
James is a motivating guy because, when he sets his mind to something, there's no negotiating. He's like a bull. He just goes, and that's inspiring to me and others. We need heroes like that. To watch him just out of the blue come out and say, you know what, I want to do this, and I don't want to just do it for myself. I want to do it for an organization that could use the funding like Shriners Hospital. So it's inspiring for me to see leadership like that.
The biggest takeaway message from this whole thing is I really want people to understand that anything's possible. You put some heart into it, you work hard, you push past those self-imposed limitations, you can accomplish anything. I never thought I would be able to come out here and run again, let alone come out here and run a 6-minute mile, let alone doing it, pushing my friend in a chair. If you would have told me that last year, I probably would have laughed at you, but that was before I set my mind to it. And so that's the biggest thing, is set your mind to it and you can accomplish it.